This is GrantTalk, hosted by Libby Hikind, founder and CEO of GrantWatch and author of The Queen of Grants.
Hi, everybody. I'm Libby Hikind, founder and CEO of GrantWatch.com and author of The Queen of Grants, from teacher to grant writer to CEO. And I'm your host today on GrantTalk. And today's session is B2B. I have with me Jason Hill, and he's a longtime friend. He actually is the person that gave me the title, The Queen of Grants. I was on his podcast, Shrimp Tank, a few years ago, and you can find it on YouTube. And that's when he called me the Queen of Grants. And it stuck, and it's the title of the book. And Jason, since then, has also created this wonderful app called OWWLL, OWWLL. And that app is phenomenal for businesses and nonprofits and professionals of all areas. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about it, and then I'm going to let Jason take off. When you put your name up there on OWWLL and your bio, and you put a small amount of money, you just pick up your feet at the end of the day after, for me, it's a remote day and I'm talking to people, but it's all about my business and my website and managing my staff. But when I put on OWWLL and somebody calls me on the phone and they just need some consultation, I am so happy to talk to somebody that's looking for me to mentor them. And it's for all of 10 minutes. And I really make these great connections. And every time I turn on OWWLL, somebody else gives me a call and says, hey, remember we spoke a few weeks ago? And they remember what we spoke about. And I love it. And I turned it on. I'm hoping somebody's going to give me a call while we're doing this. And I've just better make sure that my phone is going to ding. Otherwise, we won't hear it. So I apologize if there's any noise while we're doing this.
Because we're going to give a live example today.
Right, I hope so.
Everyone listening will get to really see what it's all about, where you kick back, relax, and say you're available, take some calls. People call on in. It's kind of cool.
Right, and I just want to show the screen. This is Jason's phone, and there's OWWLL right there. And all these people are on it right now. We just counted, there's 22 people. And they're all talking to each other.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible.
And my phone is going to be dinging, so I apologize. It's a very busy phone. But we're waiting and we'll see. So tell me, Jason, how did you start OWWLL? What was the impetus for it?
Yes. And I'm going to even reverse before we do that. When I was doing my podcast and out of the blue, I just said the Queen of Grants, because she had so much knowledge during the show. And just being a host myself, it just came through during that show. And it's so cool to see that it stuck. And now it's on the cover of a book.
In the forward are your comments.
Yeah.
A wonderful testimonial right there in the forward of the book. And That's how we help each other. Everybody should know that when you call to go on a podcast, it's not about how many people are watching it, because it's evergreen. It stays forever on YouTube. And you can keep calling it back and sharing it on social media. And it was just a great experience for me to be on that podcast and learn about it. And then recently, you'll see in YouTube, I was on the OWWLL podcast.
Yes, you're on my second podcast.
Absolutely. And after I saw how you set up the room and how easy it was, I went home and I said, okay, we're going to start our own.
Well, we make it look easy. But behind the scenes, it's taken years and years of experience to get that podcast correct. Each and every week you do a show. And when it comes to OWWLL, it actually started from my podcasting side of my life. Really, I was helping others by interviewing them and getting their stories shared across the world. Other entrepreneurs that have been in similar shoes as everybody else who's starting their business or growing their business. And I started to realize people needed a better connection tool, right? When we look at LinkedIn, Instagram, everyone's DMing everyone, and it's become really, really difficult to get on a call with anyone anymore. Right? Everyone texts everyone, but there's this awkwardness that exists. I can no longer get in my car on my morning commute and just call Libby. She'd be like, why would Jason be calling me? Like, this is strange.
Right, because we text all the time and we lose that communication that we really need with other people.
So the idea came to me when COVID hit. I said, everyone's at home. Everyone is missing having conversations with one another. And I said, why can't we build a technology that allows me to say, I'm available? you can call me. So this app right here, I'll show it to everybody, has this little timer mechanism right here. And you could set the timer. And when you set that timer, what it does is it sends notifications to all your followers. Additionally, you could tell your followers on Instagram and LinkedIn, tomorrow I'll be available on OWL. And what happens is you get to set your price at any rate you desire. So Libby, if she just wants to chat after a long day and help others, she'll set it $1 for 10 minutes to chat with her, and then her phone will ring. Libby couldn't believe it. When she left the OWL podcast, she set her price at $1, and within days, she got 10, 15 calls, and people were asking her all about grants. There's so many individuals that have nonprofits searching for grants, and most nonprofits struggle with really finding funding, right? And the right resources to put the right applications in. So OWL is just this tool for everybody because we have all verticals when it comes to expertises. And there's no other technology like it that I'm aware that you could go into a technology any minute of the day, make outbound calls to people, pick their brain about any specific topic, but also network and collaborate. We have so many individuals that call people and then get on podcasts after conversations, or just grab lunch together or jump on a Zoom, right? So that's where people are saying it's LinkedIn on steroids, right? Because on LinkedIn, that's what you're doing. You're networking, collaborating, creating opportunities, fostering meaningful relationships.
You know what? I'm going to call this person and
Okay.
see. And I just call here. I'm calling Cassandra, I think. Call.
So Cassandra is actually one of our top users on the OWL platform. And actually, she has a nonprofit. So this is interesting.
Let's hope she answers.
There she is. Okay.
Hey,
Hi, Cassandra.
how you doing?
Okay, I need you to speak louder because we are videotaping. I have Jason with me.
Hey, Cassandra.
Hello.
Cassandra, maybe you can tell our viewers how this works?
Absolutely. This is an honor. It's an honor. So, hello, Libby.
Hi.
We are live on the OWL app. And so, of course, you all can hear my voice. And this app has been a game changer for me. It's not even an app, okay? Let's take that out of the equation. It is a tool, and it can parallel with anything you do, okay? No matter what your profession is. If you're a content creator, if you're a podcaster, if you're a therapist or a counselor, lawyer, name it. We have all types of entrepreneurs right here on this app. So I love Al. Jason knows I'm going to always be a big supporter of the app. And I've gotten a lot of value from this app, for sure.
So if I called you and I said, hey, Cassandra, can you tell me, because I'm working on book 2 right now, okay? And tell me, what would you want to know from my book? If you were reading my book, The Queen of Grants, book 2, what could I include that would help you?
So I would want to know, well, who is your targeted audience? Who are you speaking to? Who did you write your book for?
I wrote book 1 for nonprofits, mostly, and small businesses that wanted to learn how to write grants. And I wanted to tell them, if I can do it, you can do it too. And I showed my journey, and then I went through all the parts of a grant and gave some models. But now I want to do book 2. And we were thinking that it should be for, again, nonprofits, entrepreneurs, startups, and businesses, and take it a step further.
Well, I love your model. And plus, the good thing is, what they may not know is I can actually see your profile. So I can see a lot of information that you shared about Queen of Grants. And I'm intrigued because I have a nonprofit. So this would definitely be something I would want to buy into. And not only that, I can see you have plenty of experience. So according to your profile, you've been doing this through GrantWatch since 2010. Is that correct?
Correct.
So 29 years as a teacher. So yes, sister.
She's
I'm
one of
very
us. She's a
impressed.
podcaster as well, by the way. So what do you
Wow,
struggle
I love
with, Cassandra, when it comes to grants, right? You have a nonprofit. I'm sure, grants come to mind. And, sometimes you're on YouTube, you're talking to people on OWL, you're talking to people through social media about grants. What would be your struggles? And what would you want to read in that book, number 2 that she's going to write?
I would probably benefit from your first book first, Libby, because I'm in like the beginning stages of my build process. So my struggle is not really having a guide or anybody who did it before me, especially in my current environment. So I learned a lot, and I'm always looking for resources. So I would possibly, for one, purchase the first book first because I think that would speak more to where I'm at in my journey, and more about structure. I think that's where people miss the mark. You have to have it structured properly because if your business is not structured and things are not organized, then you're not going to be able to track the grants and funding that you need. So just knowing like I already got my 501, the paperwork, of course, my exemption status, and now I'm working on building community and team. Like I need volunteers. Like what's the best way to engage people to want to volunteer for your mission? And especially at this point where you don't have much funding, if any funding, you're looking to get startup grants and things of that nature.
So the structure of the nonprofit organization and how you have somebody within the organization that's searching for grants and then returns to the board or to you as the executive director and lets you know what's available.
Absolutely.
And then how you start to work together. Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's a great idea. Start that way. Thank you so much, Cassandra. And I just want to tell everybody that, you put up your time, how much time you're willing to spend with somebody.
Yeah.
And you can add time if you like. If the person you're speaking with, you're really enjoying the conversation, you want to extend it, you can. And if not, you just end it and say, oh, we're about to run out.
Yeah.
And also for that point, sometimes we get busy. We don't mean to, right? But let's say if you have 10 minutes and you can't complete your full 10 minutes, for one, I would say apologize to whoever you're speaking to because you definitely want to be, cautious of their time. But even if you end the call, it doesn't take away your funding.
Right. It only charges you for the amount of minutes. And as the person that's receiving the call, you have a fee for your time. And you can change it at any time. You're not stuck with it. You can do $1, you can do $2, you can do $50. Depends what you think people are going to ding you for, right?
Yeah.
And try it out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you tell our listeners about how much money you feel you've made on the app?
So I did get a 1099 last year.
Wow.
And yeah, so it was definitely enough I had to file it because it was more than enough. So I definitely filed on my taxes. So I would definitely tell you I made a few thousand on the OWL app last year. And I'm still making that even to this day. So current day, in all transparency, I have over $1,000 in credit money right now on the app because I really work the app to my benefit, and I feel like our time is valuable, right? So, who said give your good works for free? Monetize the free time that you're giving to people because you got value, and that's what this app taught me. And it's not even about the money. The money is gonna come. I don't focus on the money. I focus on the relationships.
Yeah.
And because I focus on the relationships and building that rapport and building community, the money automatically gravitates and it attracts to me. So
Can you speak to the opportunities? Because often people get stuck on the revenue, and I always speak to everyone and say, who cares about how much money you make from the actual calls? It's all about these opportunities that come to you from outbound calls or inbound calls. Because you could, go on offense and call a different person every day and really use it to your advantage for your business, creating leads for your business, creating collaborations to get on 20, 30 podcasts next year, use it to get on public stages and just meet people for a cup of coffee, right? After having a chat through a one-on-one call on OWL.
Absolutely. So to speak to that, there's a person I speak to almost every single day, and I actually technically met her through Jason, Paula. And so he knows who Paula is. She's from Tanzania. Amazing. When I tell you, you need a friend like that who will support you on and off the app, because of her, she's in the podcast industry and she is the guru in that lane. She has brought so many opportunities. I'm actually getting my first speaking opportunity at a podcast event. It's going to be the Afros and Audio podcasting event in October. But that's because of Paula sending me that information, and we built an amazing friendship outside of this. And like we frequently hang out outside of the app. We're actually going to be in DC next week for the big
so
podcast
you really made
event
a friend.
that's on. Absolutely. And I met other people like that. EA Eric Allen, that's like one of my best friends to life. And we work very well together. And that me and him actually work in the nonprofit sector together. He's actually my CFO on the board for the LIE Foundation. So
Well, I'll tell you
it's
something.
been very valuable.
When I started GrantWatch, I really felt that it was very lonely being a CEO because my staff, well, one or two of them I'm very close with, but still you have to maintain that distance. And
Absolutely.
right. And I want to talk to other CEOs and find out what they're going through and tricks of the trade, what helps them, how they handle certain situations. And the app is just that, exactly that. You're not lonely when you have an app.
No.
I think that should be your motto.
You always have a friend on Al, I promise.
You I called you the queen of dryads. Maybe that's going to be our slogan. That's going to be
And tell
on
them
my book
that
cover.
they can't find one, right? Call loyalty. I'm always your friend. It's loyalty and friends. You all are the friends. Hey.
Well, we don't want people to think it's a dating app. It's like a business dating app, I guess we could
It
say,
is.
right?
Right.
Yes.
It's all business and it's very professional. I love that. People who are really serious about their business and who want to really do business with other people.
Right. That's exactly it. Okay. We have 2 seconds left, so we're saying goodbye and thank you.
Okay.
Okay. So
Well, there you
that was
go.
it. We did 10 minutes together, and that's how fast 10 minutes go. And now I know what she would like to see in book 2. And so I'm going to include it there. I have a chapter of getting organized and everything else. And that was me calling her and asking her opinion, right?
That was not staged.
Yes.
She just looked at the OWL app home screen, picked a profile, hit the call button, and Cassandra picked up out of the blue. She saw Libby was calling. She read Libby's bio. And how cool is this? At the end of the phone call, she got to leave a review for Cassandra because she paid to chat with her and want to make sure that she is accountable for what she listed on her bio,
Right.
that she is an expert in these different categories. But how unique is that you had a conversation, and that is a podcaster, right? She's now speaking on stages when it comes to podcasting, and maybe there's a collaboration in the future when it comes to having her a guest, or vice versa, being a guest on her show. So,
well, when she wins the grant, she's going to be on GrantTalk, and I think she's going to start looking now after this. And it sounds like she's going to buy my book. So there goes. What I love about it is that I could sit outside and just relax and talk to somebody. That's, I can help someone and I can be relaxing at the same time.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about it. And it's minimal, the money, but you see, it really adds up.
And lives are touched, right? You don't know if that one call creates this ripple impact or ripple effect, we should say, right? Where you speak with her, she buys your book, right? Then she secures that grant from the knowledge she learned from the book, and helps hundreds of thousands of children in the Atlanta area, right? That's her mission, right? To help others. She's been through really difficult times, Cassandra, and she's out there saying, I want to improve our local community. And she runs a great nonprofit, but like many nonprofits, they go under because they can't get funding. They're great people running them, and that one call for 10 minutes can potentially have that impact. And then think about just the effects after that, the ripple.
Somebody called me one night and he said, I'm so glad you answered the phone, because I was like giving up on my nonprofit. I was going to walk away and go take a job. And that's it, And I said, but you have a job. You're the executive director. And he just was so frustrated with everything happening around him.
Yeah.
And when I showed him where the grants were, he was like, oh, I've been sitting there going through one foundation after another, sending out these letters blind, blind letters like, we are a nonprofit organization and we could use some funding, blah, blah, blah. This is what we do. And he saw the grants that were available to his organization. Yeah. I'm eligible for that. And I'm eligible for that. And we're eligible for that. And you could hear that his face was lighting up. You just felt the happiness. And that was just a short phone call because he wanted to get off and use the website.
Yep.
So it makes a difference. Really does. Now I know you have some special days on OWL, right?
Yeah, we do. So we've created a day on Mondays called Mentorship Monday. We put a group at the top of the app, the first line. And if you lower your price to $1, because we want you to share knowledge with our community and anyone in your audience, and we really, focus it that it's not about the money then. It's just about being a good human being and sharing knowledge. And what's really cool is it's our busiest day of the week. People, then don't feel like they're charging too little to get in touch with them. They feel like, okay, this makes sense. Like everyone else is doing it. I can be part of this movement.
And somebody's been watching someone that charges a lot of money normally, and they go, I have an opportunity on Monday to talk to them.
Yeah. And what happens is these push notifications go out. So when I'm following you and I see that you're charging $20 for 10 minutes typically, but on Mondays it gets dropped to $1, I know it's an opportunity because I've been following you for some time, and I could strike on that opportunity, give you a call, 10 minutes, and then also extend the calls. These calls do go on 20, 30 minutes often, and people just love sharing knowledge with others. Because if you have all this knowledge, you're in your 60s, 70s, and now you're at home watching television, that knowledge can be given to the next generation and make an impact to so many. So we love that day of the week. And then we just announced a big initiative with South Florida Tech Hub, where we're doing Tech Tuesdays.
Oh,
so how cool is this? That if you're in South Florida, right, you could put yourself in that group under Tech Tuesdays, and anybody out there in the United States could go in there and call people in the tech community. We've all had trouble with podcasting equipment, audio devices, our website, and think that you can now call all these folks in the tech industry and just chat and collaborate and better your business, better your life in general, because people in that group really understand tech very well. But we're seeing a massive amount of collaboration. I do want to focus that it's less actually on advice getting, it's more on collaborations and networking opportunities. We see so many people calling people out of the blue and reading a little bit about their profile, but then realizing, wow, there's so much more to this story that we have in common. And you're seeing people, all of a sudden play pickleball together, right? After connecting on the app, you're seeing them literally date. Like we had one couple literally meet, and they were close, in the neighboring towns, and they got together and they started dating. Because OWL, again, is just a tool to connect people easier. It enables people to not have that awkwardness to call someone, because that other person saying, you can call me at this set rate. And it gives that individual boundaries, because it's just 10 minutes and they don't have to extend the call more if they feel that, the call's not going in the right direction, but they have the opportunity to extend it if it is. And there's a review at the end holding each party accountable, because we've all been there before on LinkedIn or an email where we take a meeting and it sounds like a good decision, and then all of a sudden you get on the meeting and it's a solicitation. Right. And you can't get them off the Zoom meeting, and you're like, oh, somebody else should know how bad this individual was.
You know what I'm getting?
But nobody ever finds out, and they go on doing it to the same person.
There's a new thing.
More people.
I offered you a virtual coffee cup or something. That's the newest one. How come you're not taking my meeting with coffee? Don't you want virtual coffee? No, I don't want virtual. No. That's not going to do it for me. But what I want to say to our listeners is, if you are starting a nonprofit organization, or even if you're working on a grant and you see there's somebody that can help you with that, if you see me on, and you're stuck with a question, give me a call. Or call somebody else that has a nonprofit organization. Every time somebody says to me, I'm almost eligible for this grant, I can do everything except for one particular section, I say, go down the street and find a nonprofit who does that and form a collaboration. So now you have OWL. So maybe you can find somebody else in your area that does that, or is interested in coming into your nonprofit and offering that service. So OWL could be used that way. And business, if you're an accountant and you are looking for clients, nonprofit clients, they're there. If you're an accountant and you want to speak and you see that somebody's a manager of a large business or nonprofit organization, there's just so many ways to use OWL. You have to get creative. And it's there. And then once you go on there, and if I send you a referral link, which I think I can, am I allowed to put that in my YouTube?
Yeah, you have a unique one, right?
Right. So I can give that out?
Yeah, you got the code.
Okay, so on the bottom of the description of this video is going to be my URL. Use it. It's a referral link. You get a free $10 when you use it. So now you can use that $10 and call some people. go on the OWL link, complete your
there'll be a
profile.
referral code. So your code, they just type it in and then they get $10 and then they get to try out OWL for up to 10 calls, really, because there's people at $1 for Mentorship Monday. So you have 10 different conversations
Right.
for free. And then you decide you want to take calls, right? It's just $10 a month and we give you a $10 credit back in your account. It's essentially making it free. We're just holding you accountable to make calls, at least one call for $10 in that month, or let it expire if you don't care to make calls. But that keeps like the circulation of outbound calls and inbound calls kind of closer together when people have skin in the game.
If you're on OWL, I'll probably get to call you because I'm doing my research for book 2, and I really want it to be responsive to my readers and to nonprofits and businesses and startups. So you're going to get a call from me.
And I'm going to use a real story. Connie Myers is on the OWL app. She's one of our power users, and she started a nonprofit a little over a year ago. And I think 3/4 of her board came from OWL users. So she would just make a lot of outbound calls and she found the correct fits for her board. Additionally, if she found suppliers, she created this kit for young
Backpack. Back to school backpack.
Back to school backpack, for emergency situations, right? Think about like a tracker, God forbid something happens to a child and they don't know where the child is, the tracker could be activated. A whistle, just things if an earthquake would occur, like what would need to be in that backpack. But she has leveraged OWL to the max, and it's helping her really take her nonprofit to the next level. And she's communicated with Libby, and Libby's helped her kind of go down the channel of finding grants, of course. And we see so many stories like this where there's just so many different types of individuals in the OWL app that you could connect with, because when you're running a business, like Libby mentioned, it's lonely. Right?
Yeah.
And then what happens is you need to get things done quickly. So if you're always trying to send messages on LinkedIn and Instagram and TikTok and get in touch with people and get on their schedule, a lot of times it takes 2 months to get on Libby's schedule, right? And lots of times she's only going to get like 1 out of 30 to get through to get onto her schedule to share this type of knowledge, right? So when we look at OWL, it's such a great resource to get things done quickly. And running a business is lonely. Those early years when you have no employees, 99% of people are solo entrepreneurs that are running a business, and OWL is a community. It's a little bit more than a typical app where you feel like you log in and no one's really together. People jump on Zooms together. We have to.
Somebody's always on OWL.
They're always on there, and literally it could be 2 a.m. and you're just lonely and want to talk.
Or you can't sleep.
You could talk. You literally can, and that's the unique thing about our platform.
It's like that commercial. Is it the Allstate commercial?
Yeah.
Who are you talking to, honey?
Yeah. I like that one. That's good. And what I do actually is I have very limited time in a day. I use it while commuting. I used to always listen to music or a podcast while commuting, and my commute's about 30 to 45 minutes. And what I found so valuable about the platform is every time I get in my car, I look who's available and I just call someone. And if you do that every day, there's 20 working days in a month typically, right? That's 20 new relationships that you built.
Right.
What would happen from those 20? Maybe if you're, let's say, a life insurance salesman, right? 1 or 2 might become a client. Right. 3 or 4 might become an opportunity to collaborate on a podcast and get your name out there more.
And for me, everybody's going to become a subscriber, and a lot of them are going to buy my book.
And ready for this? The last thing, the value of reviews. It's so hard to get reviews on Google, on your podcast. Well, with OWL, every person you speak to leaves you a review. You can then take those reviews and repurpose them.
Put them on your website.
And people are saying nice things about you, right?
Yeah.
And lots of times, like, people forget. And I'm going to go to Libby's right now. We're going to do this on the fly and see what
are people saying about Libby?
What people say, right? And we're going to look at Cassandra's actually, because Cassandra.
Oh, she wrote a review on my.
I'm sure she did. Let's see. Cassandra wrote, "Wow, amazing. I'm looking forward to my next opportunity to speak to Libby on the OWL app." See the reviews right here. And they get posted immediately. Now, Libby could take that, repurpose it, and then we left a review for Libby, loyalty as well. And then Tanya Davis wrote, "If you need grant funding info, be sure to go to Libby's YouTube channel and watch her videos. She also has a book that can help as well. Be sure to call her." So right off the bat, now people are redirected to your YouTube channel.
That is amazing. I didn't sit and read those. Look at that.
Laquita,
and somebody sent me a heart.
Thank you for your encouragement to subscribe to GrantWatch. believing subscribing will take my education consultancy to the next level quickly. So there you go. And look, we have all this. Chela Diaz, informative call. Libby gave me tips, valuable tips about grants. Her website has so many tools to find grants. Give her a call.
So there you have it, everybody. Look at this. I put in just a small amount of time. I have these wonderful reviews. They became subscribers. They're buying my book. It's just a great, great app to use. And it's so inexpensive. So I recommend it.
Yeah. Really, when you think about it, if you spend $50 and then you make $50 because you're taking inbound calls and receiving earnings, it kind of just goes in a circle. And the point of OWL is that it's just that people are connecting and pretty much creating meaningful relationships in life. Because when we look, at what's happening in this world today, like it could be a very stressful situation where, depression is very high. But when you go back to simple things with humans, when you talk, communicate, right, like the world is a better place.
Right.
And we believe that OWL will help millions of people in the future just really connect easier because, really what's happened on social media is it's preventing people from connecting. There's too many guardrails up.
Right. And I think earlier I said it helps me depress. I meant de-stress. Right? OWL helps me de-stress at the end of the day. And sometimes it could even be very early in the morning. I'm awake and nobody else is awake yet, but they are awake on OWL. So that's the time. And Jason, it has been lovely spending time with you. Every time we get together, I learn new things. And like I got my start from you in so many ways. I was already in business. And if you think about it, I have the title of my book, right? As a result of your podcast, of being on Shrimp Tank. And then I have my podcast as a result of being on OWL. So I'm forever grateful to you. You are business mentor extraordinaire.
Well, we hope in the future, then, these type of conversations lead to OWL success too on the grant side, because we are a for-profit. And I think lots of times people think, oh, well, grants are just for nonprofits.
No,
but you're going to teach
so
me, I know it, how to figure out a way to get a grant for OWL, because ready for this, I hope that OWL is actually built into the education system. When we look at students, right, and when they come out of college, what is happening is they don't have those communication skills that we once had. And what could happen is OWL can be placed into the curriculum to make outbound calls to folks like yourself, create research reports, and just, a class assignment at the end to present in front of a classroom, help them build those communication skills to get their first job, right? Because they practice through the OWL app. It's that first step, to really communicate with others that they haven't spoken with. Right?
You know what GrantWatch did? We got a call from a professor, and they wanted to teach the class how to search for grants.
Yeah.
So we got a hold of their IP address, and we released GrantWatch to that IP address for that class.
Yeah.
So the whole class could use it at once. So you see, you'll use it with college students. We'll use ours. And we want to educate the young people coming up. They missed so much during COVID.
Of course.
And now we have to get everybody back on track.
Yeah. So one day you help us get a grant and how to position it the correct way. And then before we know it, we start with a couple classes, because I do my podcast in collaboration with the Florida Atlantic University. So how unique would it be if we get it into 3 classes to start with, and we partner with another nonprofit to then fund the students' accounts on OWL. Everyone now is getting calls from college students. They're gonna get the tingle feeling that they're helping the next generation, because that's already happened. We did a beta with one class in the past, and that literally happened. Somebody just felt the tingles of helping that college student on the other end. So we just see that, like, we know it will work, but
It will.
But of course, like money is needed to make it work.
Well, I'm going to keep my eyes open.
So of course, if we partner, if you help us with the right grant, like this could be full circle.
And there was so
I
many.
help you, you help me, and you just don't know. And that's what's awesome about just continuously connecting in person, but then also out of the blue. Me and Libby talk, here or there on OWL app out of the blue, which is really cool.
Well, thank you so much. And
Absolutely.
everybody, you'll look for my referral link on the bottom and click it. Try out OWL. Go to grantwatch.com and subscribe so that you can see what grants are available. There are so many grants for small businesses right now and startups. So besides the nonprofits, we also have that. We have grants for individuals too. So there's a lot you can do. And thank you so much for sharing this time with us. We really appreciate it. And hopefully you'll hit the subscribe button on the bottom and listen to more of our podcasts. Thank you.
Thank you, Libby. Take care, everybody.
Thank you for tuning in to GrantTalk, powered by GrantWatch. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to this GrantWatch channel. Please consider subscribing to GrantWatch.com, and you can find the book, The Queen of Grants, by going to GrantWatch.com/book. Thank you again for spending your time with us.